death in a small tri-state village. The local police chief is leading the investigation, but should he?
The I-Team's Brendan Keefe has been investigating the death of an Aberdeen mother. Brendan.
Tanya, Carol, that mother was found hanging from a ceiling fan. Was it suicide or murder? Police say right now it's a death investigation and her husband is not a suspect. But the I-Team has uncovered evidence the Aberdeen Police Department doesn't have and doesn't want.
This is Clark Gas. I'm at Granville Drive. I need help. My wife's hung herself.
She would not make it out of her Aberdeen home alive.
Can you get her down? Does she look like she can be saved?
I don't think so.
But did Laura Gass take her own life?
She said there's nothing in life worth killing yourself over. Nothing.
Has she ever tried to do this before?
Do you think your mother was murdered?
Yes.
You fear your mother was murdered?
Yes.
The preliminary autopsy is not marked homicide or suicide, but pending investigation. Laura Gast was found hanging from this ceiling fan in her living room. The coroner noted the noose was tied above the light fixture, and this was not reachable from the chair. With multiple knots, she could hardly reach. The Brown County coroner also noted Laura and her husband had been spatting, and a ring had been thrown to the patio. Photos taken by her 10-year-old daughter show Laura alive but not well, with marks and bruises on her forehead, back, and neck. Aberdeen police say they're aware of the existence of these photos but haven't asked for them as part of their investigation. Among the marks on Laura's neck, a set her family believes was made by someone's left hand. We don't know whose left hand, but we do know that these photographs were taken the night before she died. The I-Team extracted data right from the iPod Touch that shows the 7 photos were snapped Sunday, August 11th, just before 6 p.m. Laura would be found hanging from the ceiling fan a few feet away less than 19 hours later. A postmortem photo provided by Laura's family shows darker marks on her forehead.
Do you know how long she's been there?
I have no idea. I went to work for a little while, and I came back and found her.
Aberdeen police say her husband Clark is not a suspect or a person of interest.
Clark is the former chief of police in Aberdeen.
That's right. Clark Gast was the police chief here until he resigned 1 year ago.
This is Clark Gas. I'm at Granville Drive. I need help. My wife's hung herself.
Clark has been talking with the current police chief, Greg Caudill, who is overseeing the death investigation. In fact, we found them together last Friday.
The husband, Clark, and the police chief, Greg Caudill, are friends.
Friends who've known each other for decades. Here they are as sophomores in the high school yearbook. They grew up together and worked together on the police force.
Aberdeen Police Department is still handling the investigation with Chief Caudill, the lead investigator.
Within minutes of the I-Team calling the police chief about the investigation, he got into his squad car and drove directly to the apartment where the former chief has been living. Channel 9. So I call you and you come over Clark's house?
I'm not at Clark's house, I'm patrolling.
Oh, okay. Isn't that Clark's house right there?
Actually, Clark lives at Bramble Drive.
That's his mom's house, so that's where he's staying.
Where's his mom?
His mom stays right back where you were?
I didn't stop at anybody's house.
All right. But the chief does know that address.
Well, mighty.
Audio recordings and documents obtained by the I-Team show the chief responded to the apartment where the former chief is staying 3 days after Laura's death.
Said, yes, I'm Clark's friend, have been friends for 15 years.
Laura's best friend and coworker describes meeting Chief Caudill when she showed the investigator this text message she says Laura sent her last year.
If anything ever happens to me, you push an investigation. You are the only one I trust. He has killed before.
Seeing this text after Laura was found dead, Chief Caudill told the I-Team the message was not relevant to the death investigation.
He chuckled and rolled his eyes at me and said, this isn't any proof.
How can it not be relevant? She was in fear for her life.
Nawana Bingaman has pushed for an outside agency to take over the investigation of her friend's death, not just because Laura was found dead in the home of the former police chief, but also because the current chief, Greg Caudill, responded to the couple's home that morning, hours before Laura was found dead.
He was there that morning. Him and Clark are friends, and she's found dead later that afternoon.
The autopsy report shows Police Chief Caudle was personally called by Laura or Clark while the couple was arguing, but he left without taking any action. And the police chief told the I-Team he didn't file a report because he was there on personal business.
Squad 90 PD on scene advising you can respond on them.
Chief Caudle returned to the home 4 hours later, not on personal business, but because Laura was dead.
If she did do this to herself, it's something that we're all going to have to learn to live with. But I don't believe she did it.
The photos of apparent injuries taken the night before, a disturbing text message that may have foretold her death, an unfinished autopsy that stopped short of calling it suicide. None of this answers the question, what really happened to Laura?
I need help. My wife hung herself.
The final autopsy is still pending, but the preliminary report shows there were, quote, no signs of a struggle. And while the official cause of death is pending, the findings so far are, quote, in line with suicide. Current Police Chief Greg Caudle and former Chief Clark Gast declined to talk to us on camera. The mayor of Aberdeen today refused to even talk to me on the telephone. Outside agencies were called in by the Brown County prosecutor, but days after the death, and the sheriff and the state did not want to take over at that point. You can view everything we've found, even the evidence police don't have, right now on WCPO.com. Carol.
Fascinating report, Brendan. Thank you.